Los Canaleros, one of two debutantes at the World Cup 2018. This is actually the first time we will have more than one country debuting at the World Cup since 2006, where we had, I think, 5 or 6 nations debut at that one. But along with Iceland, Panama are going to be premiering in their first ever tournament, and they've waited so long to get to this. If not coming at the expense of my U.S. team, I would feel that much more happy for the Panamanian teams, but the celebrations on the final match day really told it all. So Panama finished in 3rd place in 2018 CONCACAF World Cup qualifying with 13 points, 3 wins, 4 draws, and 3 losses, but with a -1 goal differential. Sort of to give you an insight to how lenient CONCACAF qualifying is, you can drop points very liberally and still be in contention to qualify. Look at Mexico in 2013, which makes the U.S.'s failure all the more painful. But this video is about Panama and their triumph, their celebration. So Panama have been trying to get to the World Cup for a while. They are the newest Central American side to reach the tournament, and now they leave Guatemala and I believe Nicaragua in the dust as the only 2 Central American nations to not reach it. I think also Belize. In 2006, Panama reached the hexagonal, but they crashed out way at the bottom with only 2 points from 10 games. They did not even make it to the hex in 2010, and then in 2014, they were on the receiving end of massive heartbreak when they lost their last game at home when the U.S. came from behind to score 2 late goals to send Mexico into the playoff. Well, they got their revenge this time, and Panama, through a combination of events happening elsewhere on the final match day of CONCACAF qualifying, such as Mexico's victory over Honduras' victory over Mexico, and their own victory against Costa Rica, and Trinidad and Tobago's victory over the U.S., Panama snuck into a top 3 position, into a direct spot in the World Cup. So this was a long time coming for Los Canaleros. This was a team that was one of the best sides in CONCACAF, even going back to the 2005 Gold Cup. I remember watching the Gold Cup that year. Panama reached the final against the United States, where they lost on penalties. Fast forward 2011, they defeated us in the group stage of the CONCACAF Gold Cup and went on to the semifinals. 2013, they reached the final of the Gold Cup again, only to lose to the U.S. again. And in 2015, they finished with a bronze medal in the CONCACAF Gold Cup. So Panama has a history of going really far in regional tournaments. Most recent CONCACAF Gold Cup in 2017, they went out at the quarterfinal stage through an own goal, but that was a game that they probably should have won. I think that they were the better team in that match against Costa Rica. But they had just fell short so many times of breaking through and being a CONCACAF representative at the World Cup that I'm just so happy for them that they finally made it. And I will be cheering for them despite that it's come at a cost of the U.S. missing out. Now, they're in a group with England, who I mentioned, who I talked about last night, Tunisia, and Belgium. God bless Panama in that match against Belgium, but I think the Belgium versus Panama match has the highest potential of any game in the group stage to be the highest scoring, lopsided fixture. And we always get 1 or 2 of those every World Cup. Portugal, North Korea in 2010, Argentina, Serbia, Montenegro in 2006, Germany, Saudi Arabia in 2002, Germany, Brazil 7-1. So this looks like the strongest candidate for something like that happening. I hope not. For Panama's sake, their opening match, they go out there, they're inspired, they're happy to be there, they have nothing to lose, they play their hearts out. Maybe they put in a respectable performance against Belgium and they keep the scoreline, reasonable where it saves them some blushes. But this group, I don't like to make predictions in my team profile videos. I don't like to do that, but it should be too much for them. Quality-wise, Panama is actually, on average, the oldest team heading to this tournament. And it doesn't help that, in addition to that, they're one of the worst teams, quality-wise, if not the worst, heading into the tournament. And when you have Belgium in your group in your opening match, even England, and you close out with Tunisia, who is head and shoulders still better than you, I just think it's too much to ask for. If there's going to be a surprise in this group, it's going to come from their African opponents. It's not going to come from Panama themselves, but crazy things have happened in World Cups before, but we should not really expect a Costa Rica type of situation from Panama. Let's go through the list of players. So goalkeeper Jaime Pinedo, very familiar with him. He's been with Panama for a long time. He's about 35, 36 years old. I think he plays in Romania at the club level, but he's been with this squad going back to the 2005 Gold Cup, where he was an absolutely phenomenal goalkeeper. Defenders, Michael Amir Murillo, Adolfo Machado, Roman Torres. Yep, a lot of familiar names. We have to play against these guys very regularly in the CONCACAF region. Friendlies, World Cup qualifying, Gold Cups. You know, very familiar with this Panama team. We play them quite often. Felipe Boloy is another one. I think he's the captain. Midfield, Gabriel Gomez, Armando Cooper. Yep, Universidad de Chile man. Anibal Godoy plays here locally in the MLS. Thank you very much. And of course, the veteranship up front with Blas Perez. Really happy for Blas Perez. He's used to be Panama's main striker. 37 years old, plays in Guatemala and, with Club Municipal. Gabriel Torres, who's 29, and Luis Tejada, who plays in Peru. He's 36. So the three main goal-scoring options for Panama up front are 37, 36, and 29, respectively. What's really interesting about Panama is that their golden generation really ran between 2005 and 2014. And when they didn't qualify for 2014, that presented a closed window of opportunity to send their best squad, really ever, to a major tournament. But since they got back, it's sort of like an Egypt situation. Egypt didn't qualify for the World Cup between 2006 and 2010. Now we have arguably our worst team in the last 15, 20 years, and they got back to the World Cup. So I think this generation of Panamanian players is past it. Like I said, their age doesn't help them. These players, you know, they really don't have major experience in playing at higher levels. A lot of them are MLS-based, especially Panama's back line. A few of their midfielders play in the MLS, but it's just too tall of a task, I think, for Panama. You know, wondrous things happen in World Cups, but it should be too much. Panama is just very happy to be there, and I'm glad that they have finally made it. They did put in a respectable performance in the 2016 Copa America Centenario, where they finished in third in their group, where they had a win over Bolivia, and they had a lead over Chile at some point, the eventual two-time winners. But as you saw in that group, they were grouped with Argentina and Chile, the two teams who went on to play the final. Just to give you an idea of how much it was just too much to ask for. And I think that it'll be the same case this time around, but very much so, good luck to the Canal Men of Panama in this World Cup. Vamos!